Hi, this is Michael with Drinks for He and She. Now as we get closer to opening He and She by Rachel Crothers, I am working my way through the list of characters and coming up with a period signature cocktail for each one of them, and I'm going to teach you how to make it. Now tonight is Tom. Tom tends to trust his gut. He prefers to rely on his instincts, and that served him pretty well, both as an artist and as a businessman. So, following Tom's example, in selecting a signature cocktail, I trusted my gut and went with the one that spoke to me when I thought about who Tom was, and that is the whiskey sour. I'm sure the fact that it's one of my favorite cocktails has no bearing whatsoever on that decision. The sour cocktail family seems to come from a practice among naval ships in the 1800s of mixing alcohol, water, and lemon juice to create a drink that's both refreshing as well as one that staves off scurvy. And the alcohol acts as a preservative, and it drastically extends the life of the lemon juice. Now, sailors at the time introduced many variations to the mainland. The most popular in the US was the whiskey version. The first published recipe of whiskey sour was in The Bartender's Guide by Jerry Thomas in 1862. Now, to make Tom's whiskey sour, you're going to need 1.5 to 2 ounces of whiskey or bourbon, 1 ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, and an egg white, and then garnish with a cherry and either lemon or an orange slice. Before we get started, a brief disclaimer about raw egg. Now, while the chances are vanishingly small, there is a tiny chance that any given egg has salmonella on it. The last numbers I heard were something in the order of 1 in 60,000. So while it is incredibly rare, the chance isn't zero. So, use raw egg with care, keep it clean, avoid letting the white touch the outside of the shell, and use it at your own risk. Also, before I get started, simple syrup. I've ranted about simple syrup before. Here's the brief version. Don't buy simple syrup. Make it. It is incredibly simple. It is 1 part sugar, 1 part water. Bring it to a boil on the stove until the sugar is incorporated. Let it cool. Keep it in a sealed container in the fridge. And you can even add a little bit of vodka to help extend the life of that simple syrup. All right, let's get started. We'll start with the egg white. So carefully, there we go. Egg is separated with no shells. Next is the lemon juice, 1 ounce. And then a half ounce of simple syrup. And finally, 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Okay, now, since we're using egg white, the first thing we want to do is a dry shake. A dry shake means shaking the cocktail without ice in it, with the intention of fully incorporating the egg white and giving it a more foamy quality. I'm going to use the spring from my Hawthorne strainer to act as an agitator. It's going to speed that process up. One other thing to keep in mind when dry shaking is the contents inside are going to be aerosolizing. They're going to be expanding, trying to force the halves of the Boston shaker apart. So you got to make sure you hold it nice and tight so you don't get sprayed by the contents. Here we go. Nice vigorous shake for about 10 seconds. There we go. Gotta be careful when opening. Alright, let's give the spring a quick rinse. Alright, put this back where it belongs. And next is the ice. Alright, now we're not concerned so much with mixing the drink as just chilling it down. There we go. Strain into our rocks glass. There we go. And now the garnish. I'm just going to use a wedge of orange and a cherry. There we go. And there we have Tom's Whiskey Sour.